Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's my opponent to go first. I've got Z, which is good for score. I've got whiz as a short three-letter Z word. Through an R I would have wizard, and through an E I would have wizen or wins. I'm looking to play off both the W and the Z to score well and to leave the best possible rack leave for bingoing next turn. Now through a B I would have boise. Okay, none of those floaters I mentioned have materialised, and I don't think I can play whiz. Kex takes nothing before or after it. Ah, well actually the E is there for wins. I could play wins at D8 down. 21 points. And that would leave a rack leave of ALD, which is not bad. Now, what about playing underneath Kex? Because I've got the A for going underneath the K and the I for going underneath the X. I don't have to play the Z this go, but I would like to play the W. So let's see what Waddy scores. £30 and a rack leave of LNZ, and this doesn't give much away. Now, is there anything better than Waddy? It would be nice to play a 5-letter word in this spot. But I can't see anything beginning W-A-N or W-A-L as a 5. I don't have a bingo, but I still have the Z for scoring. Now, unfortunately, I've drawn a U, which does not go very well with the Z. But there is a short word, which I've got, which is L-U-Z, and if that is playable, then I'll have a great rack leave in ENST. I like Waddy. It's a very blocky move. It doesn't provide many opportunities for my opponent to score well. Car does take an S in front, so there is a bingo lane in row G for a 7-letter word ending in S. So at the moment Luz does not play, and I note that Lutz is also good, L-U-T-Z, which also doesn't play. Waddy only takes an S after it. And the W of Waddy takes an E underneath it, so that's the most likely spot for playing a word. Well, my opponent did have an S, but he was struggling with other unfavourable tiles. Now there's nowhere to play Luz or Lutz apart from through the U of Vugs, which would retain the U on my rack, but I can play Zulu. It's not a great play because it only scores 26 points and it places the Z next to a double word square, but it certainly resolves the rack. The leave of ENST is pretty fantastic. If I draw one vowel, then I'm very close to a bingo. But is there somewhere better for my Z? I certainly want to play off the U. Can't see anything through the V, in which case I think this is the best I can do. That's pretty good. I have bone set and bean twos. Bean twos and bone set both play at J1 across. because scar takes an S and a T after it. At the moment, there is nowhere else to play my bingo. I do have tube nose through the U of Zulu, and that may be better than either of the plays I've mentioned, and it stays available, which is great. Now I may not play this, but if I don't, it'll be because of considering the score. Now tube nose is 72. If I play a J1, .78, 6 more points. Tricky. Probably not very much between these plays. In which case, I think I'll stick with what I've got. I draw the Q. I've got an I to go with it for chi. I have the N for chin. Through an H, I would have cough, QOPH. Great, 5-point penalty. Now tube nose, I think, takes an S after it. And I think that's all it takes. At the moment I've got chins at B10 down for 33 points, and that would leave a rack leave of comp, which would be very good. And I can't see anywhere else to play my Q. Jizz and Vugs are both quite blocky in terms of allowing parallel plays, because the J doesn't take anything in front of it and the V doesn't take anything after it. So the hot spots on the board at the moment are around tube nose and also in row J underneath waddy. But I'm looking to offload the Q as soon as possible. I have a 50-point lead, which is quite, well, fairly slender given that my opponent is on turn. And the Q can really restrict my bingo potential, so I need to get rid of it as soon as possible. Two U's have been played, but neither is available for my Q. I can play chin at C8 down for only 11 points, and it retains 3 high-scoring tiles. Great, chins remains available. I will briefly pause to see if my opponent's provided additional opportunities, but I don't think he has. No, so chins for 33. Great, I draw the first blank, and that is quite a promising rack. I've got both the co and the com prefix. Now the board's quite tight, and it's not a fabulous set of tiles. So I haven't seen a bingo yet. I'm going to mentally run through the alphabet for the blank. Great. Well, if I don't have a bingo, I've got a really good play at A15 because quart takes an O after it, so I can play comp. I'm thinking about compion, but I don't think that's good, or I'm not confident about it. So back to the alphabet. I'm up to C, and I haven't seen anything. I'm up to H, and I haven't seen anything. Up to L, and I've seen nothing. Well, through the right floaters I would have nincompoop. Okay, I'm considering R at the moment. I've got the micro prefix. Okay, I've exhausted the alphabet. I'm not too bothered about missing a bingo, because I think if I have missed one, it won't be particularly expensive, because comp scores really well and I'm retaining the blank. So comp plus the blank is worth about 80 points, which is not far off what a bingo is likely to be worth. I'm just wondering about playing compo. I ought to know that, and I'm not totally confident. It would certainly be a better play than comp. I'm going to stick with comp. Great, I retained 2 vowels and I drew 4 consonants, so I haven't been punished for not playing compo. This doesn't look promising. One should always consider if one has a bingo. I don't think I do. No, I can't see anything there. Well, except I do have crowd through the R of quarto, but crowded isn't good. I've got the oid suffix and cow prefix or suffix. Well, if there is a bingo here, it's going to be low probability. I've got dawed at or wad rather, at A12 as an alternative. WADD and DAWD are both good. That would certainly sort the rack out. A rack lead of CIO blank is pretty good. I've got an 80-point lead, so my lead is creeping up. Now if wad is blocked, what do I have in row J? Now SKAW is good, so I could play dow at J5 across. I certainly want to split up the duplicate D and play off either one or both of them. Okay, so I think I'm sorted. I either play dow or I play wad. There goes the wad spot. So this is what I was thinking of. Rack leave CDI blank is pretty good. 27 points is okay. And it's not providing anything hugely fabulous for my opponent. And that is superb. I am definitely bingoing with this rack. There may well be a spectacular bingo in column 15 beginning with comp, but in the first instance I'm going to try and find 2 playable bingos. That's a great spot by my opponent. Three-word overlap, 102 points, double. Okay, well, dow was a good move for my opponent. So what do I have? I have sidecar. Not sure if that's playable. Eastral doesn't take anything after it. So I've got the L of Eastral to play through. So what do I have through that? Well, a lot of words are playable through the L but don't fit in. Radical and decrials. Also, anything through the L is not going to get doubled or tripled, so I'd like to find something better than that straight up. Now what about row A ending on the P? There's epicrid, peracid. I've got the carp ending. Well, that's not a terribly fruitful row to consider because there aren't many words ending in P. So right now I have no bingos. I can't play in row L starting at L1, so my opponent's play has really scuppered me. There probably is something playable in row L underneath the second half of Eastral. That would require a 3-tile overlap beginning with an E. Gosh, I am struggling. Tube Nose takes an S after it, but the S would have to be in second place, and there isn't one. It's Radices Sidecar. Probably something else. I'm actually behind now by 16 points, so the game has really turned around. I could have a bingo beginning with the T of Quarto. Can't see anything there. Okay, now, what about column 14 beginning 1 tile to the left of the P of Comp? That would have to begin with an O or a U. Nothing with the O. Nothing with the U. Now, row A doesn't have to end in P. It could end P something. Well, my opponent has gone. He's back. I'm not surprised. So I'm going to mentally run through the alphabet for 7s and see if anything is playable. I'm up to L. Radicel, Radical, Decryl, none of those go. Dancia is good, and Cairned, they don't go. Chaired doesn't go. I am sure there are playable bingos with this rack. Laceted and Articled don't go. Peracid and Epicrid I've considered. Sidecar, Radices. I think there are others. Cardies. There's also the A of Paling, row B, for a bingo's ending in A. There's Deciar beginning with D. That doesn't go. Gosh, what a tricky situation. I thought I would be awash with bingo choices. So absolutely nothing. I can't see anything amazing coming down from Comp. There's the ER beginning in column 13. So I thought I had Eradicate for a moment, but I don't. So are there any bingo lanes I haven't considered? I think the most promising is the L of Eastral. So I'm going to mentally run through the alphabet, imagining the L also on my rack. I'm up to B. Fricadel and File Card don't quite go. Charlied would go, but is not good, I don't think. No, it's just an R and an S on the end of Charlie. Now, is there something with an M? Can't Can't see anything with an O. This is really bugging me because I'm fairly sure there are bingos here. This is a superb rack. I am going to have to stop looking soon. Radicule doesn't go. Auricule is its anagram. That doesn't go either. Okay, I can't see anything through the L. Now what about words ending in A in row B? Quickly running through the alphabet here. Up to R, I haven't seen anything. Okay, right, time to end my look. I've got 10 minutes left, 35 tiles left. I've got the blank. So, with the blank, I would quite like an open board, especially as I'm behind. Teist for 27 scores well, provides 3 floaters, and opens the board and has a decent rack leave. I draw the second blank. Do I have a bingo? Well, I probably do through the floaters that I've provided, but my opponent may well block. So initially I'm going to look through the P of paling. Great, my opponent hasn't blocked. So what about the D of Teist? And actually I've got column 15 to play down. Let me challenge this off. This is a nonsense toonie. Great. Right, so 9.5 minutes left. Drafting. I may well be able to place my F on the double letter score for a lot more points, but I think I am approaching being short on time. And I'd like to get this bingo down. Drafting. 83 points. This looks promising. I'm wondering if I have a 7. If I don't, the floaters are the C and the E of Teist. Can't see anything through those. I've got the AGE ending. Through an S I would have steerage. Only, that's fine. Through an L I would have, well, I wouldn't have égletère, I nearly have égletère. So there's the floaters in drafting. Do I have anything ending with the N? Can't see anything. I've got 8.5 minutes left. There are 21 tiles in the bag. So there's also the G. Well, there's nothing ending in G, I'm pretty sure of that. So what about the C of Teist? Can't see anything there. There's the P and the A of paling. Well, maybe I am missing something, but I'm struggling to see it. What I can do is play Age down here, leaving a great rack leave and taking out a hot spot for my opponent. The score's pretty poor, but I don't think I was going to score very much with this rack unless I bingoed. Now the L of Eastrel is no longer available as a floater for an 8-letter word. Well, I hope I haven't missed a bingo with this rack, because it'll be high probability. We'll find out later. Through an N I would have herniate. The N of drafting is in the wrong place. Now I do have the C of Teist, which looks like it goes quite well with this rack. Now teacher and cheatier aren't good. Aetheric. I think aetheric is good. Now is there an anagram of that? I don't remember etheric as being a singleton. So an R I would have earthier. I've got a 90-point lead, which is a good lead to have. But my opponent's on turn. If he were to bingo now, we'd be neck and neck. Can't see anything through the E of Teist. So right now I'm seeing etheric. I have some doubt about that. But I think there is something here, but that's not always reliable. Now the N of drafting is available as a floater, but I do not have a bingo there. Herniate is the 8-letter play with those letters, and I don't think herniate has an anagram. Ah, I think it does actually, atherine, but that also doesn't play. My opponent's got 10 minutes left. He's changed, so let me see what etheric looks like. It's pretty agonizing having doubts about a word. Etheric doesn't look great. But if it's not good, what am I confusing it with? I'm either confusing it with a similar word or I'm confusing it with an anagram. But cheatier and teacher aren't good. I'm going to try it. If it stays on, I have deafens, which I don't think plays. Is this good? I think if it stays on, the game is won, because I will be 170 points ahead. I think I would probably even survive a 9-timer in row 1. So it hasn't been challenged off yet, so I think I will assume it's good. So deafens, any anagrams of that? Not that I can think of. Great, it stays on, so I guess it's good. I've got 6 minutes left. So I can't play deafens. I'm not aware of any anagrams. Can't see anything through the P and A of paling, so I don't think I have a bingo. So how do I score with this rack? I'm looking at the bottom left of the board, the triple word square at 01. I could play AE at 01. Only 24 points. I'd like to do better than that. Fabs is good. 39 points, that's really good. Now ER does take an F after it, so I could have a word at 01 beginning AF, but I can't see anything. Now, do I have any alternatives to Fabs? I like Fabs because the rack leave of ADWEEN is not going to get me into too much trouble, even if I pick up vowels I'm going to be able to score well because I can play off the D with several vowels. Now, my F can also play at J10 across. And I don't think O1 is such a great opportunity that it needs to be denied to my opponent. So what I can do here is play fade. Rack leave of ENS is fine. I'm not really providing any useful floaters for my opponent. And I am obstructing column 13. YA takes an R in front. And 31 points is good. Venules is good, that doesn't play. I can see now the remaining tiles, the 7 on my opponent's rack plus the 3 in the bag. There are 3 O's and 2 I's unseen, so my opponent is likely to have an unbingo-y rack. I can't see a playable bingo with this rack. I've just noticed the triple letter square at N10. I wonder if last go I had a play where my opponent has just played Yo. Now, there's 1 tile in the bag. My opponent could have oration, but he has nowhere to play it. So, what can I do with my V? I've got just over 3.5 minutes left. I'm looking for places where my V can go. I could play even at L11 across. That doesn't score very much. 17 points. I could play Nevis at L10. Now, what's good about this is that there's 1 tile in the bag. And by keeping EL, there's a good chance that I will be able to play out. 25 points is quite good. I can't see anything playable around O1. And I would like to play off my V. So I think that's fine. LEI and LIE are both good. So I'm sure there are many places I can play. My opponent does have oration. Even if he does play it, he will not win. I have Ilia at B5 across. I have Leip at A6 across. Do I have an alternative out? I have lied at G12 down, so I am going out. I've got just under 3 minutes left. My opponent's got 7 minutes. I'm looking around to see if there's anywhere better for an outplay. So Lied scores 6 points, Leip scores 6, and Ilia scores 6. So can I score 7 anywhere? Well, I don't think I'm going to spend time trying to eke out 1 more point. Since nothing's come to me, so I think I'll just play Ilia and conclude the game. Just waiting for my opponent to formally end the game, which he does. And the final score, 370 to my opponent, 517 to me, a winning margin of 147 points. Let's see what I missed. It's my opponent to go first. And I could have played wands at d8, which I didn't consider, but I think waddy is better, or very close, for the reasons stated in the video. Now, this is where I played Zulu, and I could have got more by playing off my S, but I think the S is well worth retaining with the other tiles. Bean-Tooth's Bone Set and Tube Nose, those were the three bingos I considered, and I still like Tube Nose. Chins looks like it was best. Now, did I have a bingo? No, but Compo was good. That would have scored 3 more points and would certainly have been better than retaining IO blank, but as it happens I was not punished for that. There was no bingo here, and Dow at J5 looks best. Eastral, great spot by my opponent. Although it's a high probability word, it's often difficult to spot 3-tile overlap, so well done. Now here, heraldic at G11. There was a bingo through the L. I missed heraldic, and that was the only playable bingo. Wow. Well, Compadre was certainly better than playing heraldic because it retained the blank and scored only 15 fewer points. Teist, which was my play, was significantly worse than either of those, so that was a miss. That's when my opponent phonied with Toonie. I played drafting, and I could have played seafront, which would in row N, so not hitting a triple word square, but placing an F on a triple letter square and doubling it, and that would have got 1 more point than drafting. In fact, drafting's going to be better because seafront opens access to triple word squares, which drafting doesn't. So there wasn't a good play in row O, which placed the F on a double letter square. Ooh, Tagarine, what a lovely word, and I missed it, so high probability. And I did not see that, so yeah, hopefully I'll spot it next time. And what I did play was age, and it looks like that's as good as the other alternatives being suggested. Scores less, but the rack leave is better. And it enabled me to play etheric, and the anagram of that was heteric. Yeah, if I'd seen heteric, I think I would have been more confident about etheric. They scored the same. Fees at N10. Wow. Oh, well, that's the spot which I considered later, and clearly should have considered at the time, because 57 points is a huge score. Instead I've scored 31. This is where I played Nevis, and halves at A12 was available. Oh, I see, halves and tube noses, retaining ELNU, but I actually prefer Nevis because it, by only keeping 2 tiles, I am more likely to be able to play out the next go. Let me just check my opponent didn't have a bingo, and he did not. And finally, 6 was the most number of points available, so I did not waste time looking for a better play than the one I played because it wasn't there. So that was an interesting and, well, it felt like a close game. The final score wasn't close, but it felt close. And I think also it felt a tense game because I thought I was probably missing bingos, and in fact I missed heraldic and Tagarine, so I was indeed missing bingos, and when you think you're missing bingos, it causes anxiety. Anyway, the end result is that the game was won, and hopefully you enjoyed watching that, and well done if you spotted the bingos that I missed. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.